The project was about understanding some of the background science behind why we do nutrient offsetting the way we do, the calculations that we use, and trying to introduce a greater amount of scientific defensibility to how we calculate the amount of offset required and what that impact is going to be where the offset is actually needed.
So with this project, we produced a variety of different things, and one of the most important things, I think, was a revision to the offset equation that's currently used in the point source offsetting framework. And we've proposed a revision to that equation where we're separating out the uncertainty specifically, which was previously lumped up in one of the factors in the equation. We are separating that out, and we are looking specifically at the ecological impact, and we're also introducing a vehicle to, in the future, consider co-benefits in that equation.
For this project, we have been using multiple different methodologies. So the first one is we did a literature review on both equivalency ratio and delivery ratio. And we used the key research funding from the ARC linkage project, which CI from Professor Griffith, working on specifically on equivalency ratio and comparing different nutrient sources of soil slurries from erosion, sewage treatment plant discharge, and also aquaculture discharge. And then we also run multiple workshops together with modelers, policymakers, and those of the end users for the nutrient offset equation to discuss or revise the model and provide insights as well.
The key learnings from the project were that we needed to focus on total dissolved nitrogen as being one of the key units of currency to understand how offsets can actually minimise the impact on the ecosystem, which has never really been done before. We've only looked at total nitrogen, so this is actually tying the offset to the thing that is actually causing the ecosystem response we're trying to manage. We also learned that it's quite important to separate out the uncertainty from delivery ratios and so on, and the environmental equivalency, simply so that we can tighten some of those elements up where we've got better data and where we can do proper statistical analysis. I think what's really important is that now we've finally got some scientific defensibility behind the methods that we use for offsetting. We've not had that before. We've only ever had conceptual understanding. So now we've actually been able to say, this is how you can defensively do an offset and know that you're actually affecting the things that might cause an impact.
I do think another thing that we also found is that we can do a lot more research on this topic and continue exploring what we started with this. So specifically putting a lot of scientific backing behind the equivalency ratio. But then in the equation, we also have delivery ratio, which is concerned with the river processing while the materials flow down the river, which we sort of have an idea about and we can make some good guesses about, but we definitely can invest more into research into that topic.
Another improvement for the revised offsetting equation is that we have been developing this one using a concentration-based model rather than a load-based model, because from the environmental impact perspective, they are nutrient sensitive. So it depends on how the TDN nutrients are for the environment rather than the total load over a year. So that's very important.